The UN Security Council has voted to adopt a resolution demanding an immediate end to fighting in South Sudan and threatening to consider an arms embargo and sanctions those violating a December ceasefire agreement. The resolution is aimed at piling pressure on South Sudan's warring sides as they head into a new round of peace talks in Ethiopia in April. The resolution will also renew the mandate of the UN peacekeeping mission for another year. The United Nations has 12,500 troops and 1,500 police in its South Sudan mission. Well, last week, Russia, China and Ethiopia raised objections to the threat of an arms embargo, with the African Union also weighing in, saying that was also not in support of the arms embargo. Well, CGTN's Li Tan is keeping tabs on this developing story and now joins us live with the latest from the UN headquarters in New York. Li, the Security Council has adopted this resolution that includes the threat of an arms embargo, but how committed is the Security Council in following through on this threat?
Hey there, Karen. That is a good question. As you yourself mentioned, there has been deep divisions over the matter of imposing an arms embargo, and the Security Council members here have long contradicted or have long disagreed on whether to move forward with the arms embargo as well as sanctions. And we saw that play out in the negotiations ahead of this morning's adoption of this resolution. Now, we know for a long time France and the United Kingdom have been pushing for an arms embargo, and back in 2016 the US also followed suit after violence broke out in Juba. However, other members, China and Russia included, have not been on board, which is why a previous attempt to vote to adopt or rather to put forward a resolution calling for an arms embargo as well as sanctions such as asset freezes and travel bans failed to pass because it could not garner enough votes. And that is why this latest threat of an arms embargo does not come in the form of a standalone resolution. Rather, it comes contained within the language of a resolution that more broadly renews the mandate of the UN mission in South Sudan known as UNMISS. And what this effectively does is it leaves the option of an arms embargo on the table should the peace process be interrupted, hindered or contravened in any way. And as one diplomat told the Agence France Presse earlier this session, this threat is a theoretical possibility only. Karen?
Well, Li, what was the response from South Sudan?
Well, as expected, the South Sudan ambassador protested this threat of an arms embargo. Now, Joseph Mumajek-Malok, who is the South Sudan ambassador to the UN, said that while his country welcomes the renewal of the mandate of the UN mission in South Sudan for another year, punitive actions, he said, are counterproductive. He added that it's one thing to condemn the leadership of his country, but it's another thing to threaten sanctions and an arms embargo, which he warned would further aggravate the situation. He told the council that cooperation, not confrontation, should be the way to go.
Okay, CGTN's Li Tan, thank you very much for that update from the UN headquarters in New York.